Riverside Resort. It's a moderate level resort and it's gorgeous. Like, I cannot wait for you to see this, plus all of the awesome activities you can do while you're here too. We're going to show you dining, we're going to show you activities, we're going to show you the two different sides of the resort, and then at the end we'll give you our pros and cons for staying here. Let's see if you like it. like we both are really loving Port Orleans Riverside. It's such a beautiful, picturesque property, and just almost everywhere here would be great to stay. Now, I personally am more of like a plantation house fan. What do you think?
It depends. I actually think I like the Alligator Bayou locations more than about like half of the plantation houses. But there was like 2 of them. One has an awesome fountain. I don't remember, that might be Oak Manor.
It was something with a P.
No, I think it was Oak Manor. I think the
Oak Manor had the fountain, which was beautiful, but then
the
Pierre
best one,
Place or Partier Place, I don't know.
I don't know, something like that. Some of the 2 Ps
something place
a beautiful like long thin fountain.
Yeah.
And great grounds and kind of like a little queen chair, and also probably some of the most Disney theming, because it also has little banners that included, I want to say, Belle and Briar Rose and a few
Rose
other things.
Red, which I thought was pretty unusual.
I honestly don't even know what that is.
That's it's Snow White's sister from like the old like Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales. So I thought that was like a really unique touch too. And everything here too, like if you like to photograph your resort, if you like to Instagram it, Snapchat it, this is it. Like this is such a beautiful place to take videos and pictures. And oh, you might also notice that it's a really sunny day here. It's June when we're filming, but yet we're like completely covered in shade. So even though there's so many outside parts, they really do go for like that down south bayou kind of feel. So you have so much shade. I do want to point out there's only like one con here that we've seen so far. There was one place that I would not recommend trying to stay. It was the Acadian Manor. Acadian House. It really just was like the most far away
like dead
from
center
everything.
Across the water.
Yeah. Now
so
that being said, it looks like a really big resort, and it is bigger than like Port Orleans French Quarter. But that being said, it's still not that huge. Like everything is definitely within walking distance, and I think there are 3 pools here. We've shown 2 in the video. We'll see if we can find the 3rd pool coming up soon. But ultimately, I would highly recommend staying here. It's super relaxing. The food was good. The only other con was that it was very hard to find a table to eat at this morning. But that being said, we're early risers. Like if you're someone who's gonna like be at rope drop in the park opening,
this way.
Okay, then you're probably not gonna have trouble finding a table. But we were here maybe around like what, 8:30, 9?
Yeah, right around 9 o'clock.
So all those people who are getting a late start to the park were swarming the River Mill food court.
And actually, you brought up earlier, if you're a person who like gets sunburned easily, because I know my wife does, I would suggest being in the Alligator Bayou section just because of the shade, because all the shade we discussed is not at all in the plantation house area. It's pretty much wide open, so you're like gonna be burning up if it's a really hot day. Whereas the Alligator Bayou has almost all the trees, so you're likely to like be able to kind of, for the most part, stay somewhat cool even in the Florida heat. That's
true. Shadier, you want Alligator Bayou, but personally, I just am more of a fan of the style of the plantation houses. Like, I wouldn't stay here for Alligator Bayou, but I would definitely stay here for the plantation houses. Also, they had a phenomenal gift shop and lobby. Honestly, this resort is just so impressive to me, and the price really isn't that bad considering like the deluxes are gonna have to blow me away to say that it's worth staying there, but this I think is well worth the price. It's definitely more sophisticated than a value resort. Just really nice. Like honestly, this would be a very relaxing adult retreat. It's very kid friendly. We've seen lots of kids here, but there are pools that seem more like kids pools, and then there are pools that seem more like adult pools. So I think that could also be a draw if you're like here on your honeymoon or a couple's vacation as well.
That's another draw too, is that both, I think the Oak Manor in the Plantation House area and a few of these Alligator Bayou locations have their own private pool, and there seems like they're just empty as like 9 to like 11 a.m. probably that zone. So if you need to take a day off from the park, it might be nice to come here and probably go to like these pools because they're gonna be like way less full.
And here is that last pool.
So outside of half of these places.
Yeah, like nothing too crazy in terms of like theming, but ultimately, thumbs up. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are at Port Orleans Riverside's sister resort, Port Orleans French Quarter, and this happens to be one of my favorite places in the whole world, not just Disney World. It has beautiful, picturesque streets as kind of a focal point. It has an amazing river to get you to Disney Springs or Port Orleans Riverside. It has great dining options. It has a nice gift shop. I'm giving you the pros already, guys, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to come up with many cons. So come tour the resort with us and see if you like it just as much as I do. Have it, everybody. Port Orleans French Quarter. Isn't it gorgeous? It's one of my favorite places in the whole world. So many pros to this resort. One of them is a pro to me. It's small. We got through this place fast. You could walk the entire thing. You could run the entire thing if that's your thing on vacation without really any kind of problems. This is a beautiful resort. I know we said we're not doing like the room tours, but we have stayed here prior and I didn't have any problems with the room. It was fine. A little small. The rooms are a little small here, but you know what? Doesn't matter to me. I mostly just sleep in the room. The arcade is very nice. It's a good moderate size arcade if that's something that maybe you're waiting for the Magical Express. It's a good way to kind of kill some time. And the food court's really nice too. I did find it easier typically to find somewhere to sit at the food court here than at Riverside, but I mean that might not be the biggest deal in the world. What is nice because it's so small is that if you get like a refillable cup or if you get hungry late at night, it's a very fast walk to the food court. The pool's also really nice. We never took advantage of the pool, but I wish we had. It's super cute.
Super well themed.
Yeah, the theme is ridiculous. I've never been to the French Quarter, but I imagine it's maybe not even as nice as this. I don't know. I really like this this representation of New Orleans.
They probably have a lot less alligators in Vans.
Yeah, I don't think New Orleans has a ton of alligator sculptures that are like playing a saxophone.
Yeah.
And I think that's another great point too. The sculptures and just the whole scenery here make for great Instagram pics, Snapchats, and just family photos too. So you can't go wrong staying here in my opinion. Can you think of any cons, John?
I'm gonna say no. I think I guess the only thing that you could critique is that a lot of these moderates have like the motel style rooms where you're going to be entering right from outside.
That's true.
So I guess like if you're comparing it to a deluxe resort that you might be able to enter from inside, you have more air conditioning, I guess. But that's the only thing. It's not a con for me, but I could see it being a con for someone else.
Like 2 years ago we did stay here and it was really rainy, and so that kind of stunk. But at the same time, I would not recommend booking a preferred room here because you're pretty close no matter what building you're in. So I would risk it. I'd roll the dice still, even having that rainy experience, and just say pack a poncho. It's Florida, it's gonna rain sometimes. But so to me, the size, again, is a huge pro. And
actually, during the rain, I thought having like the motel style rooms was better because you opened the door right away and you saw that it was downpouring, so you could like immediately step back and you could be like, all right, I need to change.
Yeah, you could really change your plans.
Instead of walking through the whole hotel and then figuring it out.
And did you have any other pros that I didn't mention?
I think the actual like very thin streets makes it feel like more like you're in, I guess, like a New Orleans like city. And I guess that's a big pro for me because it fits the theming. So,
yeah, the theming is top notch.
Like the walkways are a lot smaller in other places, and that's actually a pro because it really works with the theme.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, if you're someone who really likes to explore your resort, this could be a pro or a con, because pro, you can explore it really fast and get on with the rest of your vacation. Con, there's not quite as much difference. Like all the buildings do look the same. So if you're looking for more like variety in your hotel to explore, I would recommend Riverside over this, but otherwise, this pretty much takes the cake for me.
Only thing I think is they have one main pool, you get a much bigger pool, which I think is nice.
That's true, it is very large, but there is only one of them, and there is a very little hot tub. So I don't know if I would plan on getting the hot tub.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There you go, everybody. Port Orleans, French Quarter. I love it. Do you love it? everybody. We are here at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. Now this resort kind of doesn't get that much love by a lot of regular Disney guests because it usually hosts a lot of conventioners, but you're going to see a lot of construction that is really trying to make this resort a destination for everybody. And you're going to see some pretty cool dining and some amazing architecture. So let's go, let's get started. quickly, you'll notice, if you're paying attention, that we are no longer at Coronado Springs Resort. We just didn't get a chance. It was like swelteringly hot that day, so we really needed to get inside, and so we didn't get a chance to do our review of the pros and cons there, but we're ready to give them to you now. So do you want to start with pros or cons of Coronado?
Let's go positive. Let's go pros.
All right, pros. Pro number one, I would say, this is kind of also a con, I'm sorry, but it's only a short-term con. Like, if you're watching this video a year from when we film it, then it's no longer a con. The con is there's construction going on. The pro is that this resort is going to be transformed very soon from like a nice resort to, like, I think a magnificently beautiful resort.
Yeah, no, I get that. I was a little worried you were like immediately going to have only one pro. So like, no, that makes sense. And do you want to tell them a little bit about what the construction is for?
Yeah, so you saw in the video that there's an enormous lake where all of the casitas or other kinds of buildings, I can't remember what they're called right now, ranchos?
There's 3.
Something like that.
Rancho sounds like one of them.
Well, anyway, the buildings are located around the lake. And so in the past, you've always had to walk all the way around the lake, including if you wanted to get to their amazing pool. So I think that people always consider that kind of a con because that could be a very, very long walk. It's an enormous resort.
Yep.
So now they're building a walkway with various entrances so you can walk across the lake, and then in the center of the lake is going to be a beautiful dining location, a beautiful restaurant. And they're also building a big tower that some people are suggesting might even suggest that this resort could be bumped up to possibly deluxe, or maybe have some of it be moderate pricing and some of it be deluxe pricing. So that's kind of something we just have to stay tuned for. We're not sure yet. I would say beautiful. Like, it's a gorgeous resort. And if you are the kind of person that loves Caribbean beach locations, I mean, I know it's actually more like Mexican themed, but if you like tropical beach destinations, like that's your thing, then this is for you. Like, you should definitely stay here. You're gonna feel super relaxed, super in tuned with the resort, and I feel like when you're there, it kind of has that feel of like, I'm not even at Disney, which is not necessarily a pro for me, but like, you could kind of be there and just think, I'm just having a relaxing vacation. I'm going to go to an amazing pool. I'm going to eat at a great restaurant. I'm going to walk around this gorgeous lake, and I'm going to relax. I'm going to let the cares of everyday life flow away. It doesn't make me think like, let's get up and go to a theme park.
Well, I guess pro would be similar to that. Not only are you kind of outside of Disney, but I think another positive is that there's like 3 different distinct sections of Coronado Springs right now, not even factoring the construction. So you kind of get in the main area near the lobby a very large, sprawling, almost like Mexican city feel that feels very festival-like. Like, there's lights.
Yeah.
There's like beautiful fountains in between buildings and like nice like walkways on the second floor.
Really nice Instagram pics, everybody.
Yeah, that actually might be one of the most beautiful areas of any Disney resort I was on. I was very impressed with it. Then you go into the other side that's closer to the pool, and you get like the rancho feel. Feels, I mean, I'm not sure what section of Mexico it would be, but it definitely feels more beachy. And then, what would you say the third section is? It's a little different than that?
I would say it's more like Mexican adobes, and there's a lot of cacti around, which was kind of trippy to see. Like, I don't think I've ever seen cacti in real life, other than like, I guess at like maybe home and garden stores. But there's so much of it. Like, you actually would want to be careful and not let your kids maybe run around that section.
And then in between the rancho and the adobe section is the pool, and I don't think it can be understated how amazing the pool is.
The pool is spectacular. It really, truly is. And the whole area, it's not like just a pool. It also is like sand volleyball courts and like a kid's climbing area, and you can like play outside games, and you can get outside drinks and like poolside drinks. So I really do feel like you could go on a Disney vacation and maybe only go to the parks like 1 or 2 days and spend maybe 2 or 3 whole days at your resort and probably be pretty happy.
And is like Mexico your favorite place in Epcot, then you should stay at Coronado Springs, because
that's a really good tip. If Mexico's your favorite place to stay at Epcot, you would like Coronado Springs.
Because I love the Mexico Pavilion. I love that you walk into the temple. It's nice that it's also air conditioned, but you walk into that awesome Aztec temple or Mayan temple, whichever one it's supposed to be, and then like basically at Coronado Springs you're just swimming in it. Like, it's right in front of you. It has the same feel, but you're in an awesome pool. So like, I would definitely stay there, like, without a doubt. It's a great resort. That's a huge pro for me.
But I've heard that recently they did redo all their rooms. So if you do stay there, you're probably getting like very fresh rooms in terms of materials and like linens and things like that. Oh, and they also, in their beautiful lobby area, had an amazing coffee lounge where you could order lots of different drinks, like coffee and teas, but you could also get tons of amazing looking desserts. So, and their gift shop was super cute also. They had a big gift shop, a lot of, again, if you like Mexican vacations, a lot of Mexican themed items, and just like awesome theming throughout. Like if you like the Three Caballeros, they're there.
Yep.
In like statue form.
It's pretty cool.
It's really neat.
Oh, well.
I do want to say I've not heard great dining reviews of Coronado Springs, but you know, your experience could be different than someone else's. Like if you're expecting like signature dining, it might not be your place. But if you're cool with like quick service and like bar food, and if you like Mexican food, then I think you'd be happy. So we definitely do need to get into cons. And I would say the number one con for me is size. It's too large. There are way too, it would be overwhelming to me to stay there for an entire week because you do still have to walk around the whole lake as of this point. But even if they're just now going when the walkways are completed, you still have a ton of walking time between your location, the lobby, the bus stops, the pool, the gift shop, the dining options. Like, I'm the kind of person that if I go on vacation, I want the pool, if I'm going to use the pool, to be like a 2-minute walk or less, like even ideally less. And most likely you might have a 10-minute walk or more to the pool, even with the new walkways. And that would not be my jam. That would not be fun for me. That would not be relaxing for me, even with the amazing pool. Plus, I'm pale, I can't spend hours at the pool, so that big pool is kind of wasted on me.
I think the size is a pro and con. It's a big con for me in that there's like multiple bus stops, and I think it's like 5 of them. I think it very much, and
it's at least 4, yeah.
Because we were hopping around resorts, and yes, we were traveling through Uber at times to cut down expenses, we were also trying to take advantage of the bus system, which I think gave us a look into like what it would be like to stay there. And we probably waited 20 minutes just to get picked up at one stop at the resort.
And then we waited also while they went to other locations within the resort because there's an internal bus shuttle system. So we got picked up at, say, location 2, and then we had to go to location 3 and 4, and we had to wait behind another bus at one point. So between waiting for the first bus and then waiting within the resort, we probably were at least 35 or 40 minutes. And then you have to drive to the park you want to go to. So if you're like rope droppers or if you have dining reservations, it's really inconvenient. For dining reservations, I'd probably Uber.
Yeah, I do really enjoy the Disney buses, and it's a great amenity that I think you don't get it virtually anywhere I've ever stayed at, or like especially in other theme parks. But I think it's like almost like a dirty little secret that, oh, it's a bus system and every resort gets it within Disney, so it's going to be equal. It's nowhere close to equal. Some resorts have horrible bus traffic because of their size or because of their layout. Other ones, even though you're paying less money, it's like you just get whisked right to the park. And I think Coronado is like bottom of the barrel for bus service. I did say there was a slight pro, and I felt at the section that's very festival, city-like, I felt the size of it made it feel more immersive. So I go into some heavily themed hotels, and I'm like, oh my god, this is incredible. Look how big and shiny it is. And you take 3 steps and you're in the parking lot. In this one, I'm like, I'm in one...
we're going to share that with some of the deluxe resorts.
Yeah.
And that, to me, makes it not feel like a deluxe resort. So this is a moderately priced resort that actually kind of feels more like a deluxe in terms of size.
There was a section, and specifically my favorite section of the place, so I think I would request this section if I was staying there, furthest from the pool, but the place looks like a Mexican city, is very immersive. And at one point we were walking through it, and I'm like, are we even heading in the right way? Because you're like walking through one section, and there's like second floor walkways, there's fountains, and I'm like, this is really beautiful, and it's stunning, and it feels deluxe.
Now, I do want to tell you one more thing, which I mentioned in the intro to this particular part of the video, which is that this is a very popular place for conventioners to stay. And for some people, that's a pro, and for a lot of people, that's a con. Let me explain really quickly why it's a con, and then I'll tell you why I actually consider it a pro. Con, people just feel taken out of their vacation because you're walking around and you see people like in business attire with their laptops and they're making business calls, and it just takes people out of it. Like, you feel like, oh, they're not on vacation, I'm on vacation. It kind of feels awkward or weird, or maybe you just want to take your kids on vacation and it's just completely adults, and maybe that feels strange to you to be surrounded by all these business type adults who are not on vacation when you're trying to have fun with your kids at the pool. To me though, I can see it as a pro because you're not competing with the same people for the same things. People are not going to be getting up for rope drop, so you can have a nice relaxing breakfast probably. The hours that you eat are likely going to be different. Maybe the pool is more open because if you're at a convention, I don't know how much pool time you really have. And also with the bus system, yeah, you might wait a long time for a bus, but you're probably going to get on that bus when it arrives. Whereas when we've stayed at other Disney resorts, sometimes you wait for a bus and there's so many people waiting to get to one of the parks, you have to wait for the next bus, and that's kind of a bummer. So conventions, kind of a pro, kind of a con. It totally depends on your take on it. I would see it as slightly more of a pro than anything else. Ultimately, John, when it comes down to it, would you pay the moderate price to stay at this resort?
It's a definite yes. It's I think it's beautiful. I think, like I said, at some places it feels deluxe, and really it's just due to the size. The cons are more size and bus. So I think overall, I'm very impressed with it.
And I would actually say that those cons, the size and the buses, are two deal breakers for me. So I would not pay for this resort.
So what's your ranking out of 10 then?
A scale of like 1 to 10, 10 being like, I can't wait to stay here. 4 or 5. Like, I wouldn't be mad. Like, if I was going with other people who were like, or if you were like, I really want to stay there, I'd be like, okay, I'll stay there. Like, I'm not like, I don't want to stay there. Like, that's horrible. It wouldn't be one of my first choices.
I'm going to go with 7, with the caveat that I'm just going to accept I'm going to lose more sleep and get up earlier to hit the buses to get the parks at the same time I would normally get there. So I'm like, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to maybe go to sleep a little earlier, wake up a little earlier, and just deal with it.
All right, there you have it. Everybody, we actually had a lot of camera issues when we were touring the Caribbean Beach Resort, and I actually filmed everything that I could on my cell phone. But we did not spend a lot of time at Caribbean Beach. You can tell that from how short the little tiny video review was, and we just figured we would do the pros and cons also. And I have to tell you, the reason why we decided that and why the video is so short is we hated it. Oh my god, did we hate Caribbean Beach. We literally were like, we want to get out of here. Like, we didn't even want to spend another moment on property. So I kind of feel like, let's think if we can think of any single pro for this resort, and then just talk about the cons, and then just let you move on with your life.
The only pro I could think of is it's gonna get that, what are they called, gondolas in the future?
The Skyliner gondolas, the new transportation system.
Yes, like, I mean, that would be the only thing, is that I guess if that's awesome, like, I don't know how it's gonna be or if people are gonna like it, but if it's amazing, that will be a future pro for this location.
That's really a strong idea I hadn't thought of. I would say my pro would be, it has a pretty neat themed pool. The pool has like a very cool old Spanish fort style like posts. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was pretty neat. I would like to go to that pool.
If your kids like pirates, they would like it.
Yeah, it's very piratey, definitely. Mm-hmm. So that's
it for me.
That's pretty much it, right? Let's talk about the cons. Now, I'm the kind of person, and if you've been watching this series of touring videos with me, you notice I spend a lot of time in hotel lobbies. I look for the arcades. I go through the gift shops. I enjoy all of that. To me, that's a big part of my hotel experience. And you can't do that. You can't do that here because this is such a large resort. Then there are sections like where they have different. It's like different Caribbean islands. Like here might be Trinidad and Tobago, and here might be Martinique. And the lobby area, which I'm assuming has other amenities like a gift shop and I don't know what else it might have, an arcade, I guess, is so separated that we didn't even feel safe walking to it. Like, it would have been a long walk with, I didn't see any clearly defined pavement. So I didn't feel safe walking. Like, I feel like you need to have a car at this resort. I personally feel that way, that you need to have a car at Caribbean Beach. And I don't like that. And even though we've driven to Disney several times, I still don't like that I can't just easily access the lobby. Because also, I've had issues with the hotel room on past trips, like the hairdryer not working, or we had issues with our tickets one time, our first trip ever, and we had to go to the concierge and try to get the tickets and the park hopper straightened out. And to not be able to easily walk to the lobby and fix those issues, it's a total deal breaker for me.
For the things with cars, if you don't have a car, they do like inter-resort shuttles, which a lot of the big ones do. But you're still waiting like for a shuttle, just like you'd be going to the park, to then just like go to a different section of your hotel. So that would be time consuming.
Yeah, and like I mentioned, the pool's cool. You'd want to go to that pool if you stayed there. And guess what? Unless you're in one or maybe two sections of the possible 5 or 6 sections, you're going to have to take the internal shuttle or walk your butt off to get to the pool. And how relaxing is that? I don't like that at all. I can't imagine being at the pool for an hour or two, being sopping wet, and then having to sit and wait for a shuttle to take me back to my hotel room. Like, in no world am I doing that.
And there could be people, I bet you there's people who will hear this and be like, that doesn't sound like that big of a deal, because I stayed, say, at Coronado Springs, which is also large and has areas that are closer to the pool, but that's like a very well-defined circle. You can always see where you're going. You might go, oh, it's a long walk because I walked for 5 minutes, but that's not the way this looks. Like, I don't even know the layout because construction is so rampant.
The construction is horrible there.
It's not intuitive how you get to other sections, in my opinion, and even some of the walkways aren't intuitive anymore because it's not. I won't even go into it. We can go into it further in a construction con because it needs to.
I think we should go right into that now. Construction is a huge con at Caribbean Beach, and construction goes on everywhere. Like it goes on at every resort at some point. It goes on in every park at some point. But I feel like Disney does a really good job of making it unobtrusive as much as possible. At Caribbean Beach, the construction's in your face. Like, it's right there. You have to walk around it. It takes away from the relaxation element. If I had said to John, we've been to Disney several times, and we're going to go many more times in our lifetime. If I saved up my pennies, and that was my one Disney trip, my lifetime Disney trip, and I stayed at Caribbean Beach, I would be so heartbroken. Like, because it just doesn't feel Disney, and it just doesn't feel relaxing. So what's the point? You have to, like, eat out of a tent.
Or food trucks.
Or food trucks.
There's like 2 or 3 food trucks around a tent, so I guess there's more options within the tent. But what that does mean for you is that just like the lobby is closed, basically, their entire normal food location where you would go in the mornings or at any point during the day when you're back at your resort is not available. Forever.
Construction rarely bothers me.
But this is egregious. Like, you're there and you're like, I really hope that they like these people knew how much construction there was, because it felt like you can't even enjoy the pool. Like the pool's the best feature, and there's like right next to it is just gigantic blocked off spaces, and you just see people going in and out, construction workers.
Yeah.
It's like this is the best feature, and they've still ruined the best feature of their hotel right now. And we can't review it before this happened. It might have been beautiful before all the construction's going on.
But it would still be enormous. It would still take you forever to get around your resort.
Yeah, I just can't even describe. I would have never believed, if anyone had told me, I wouldn't believe them. That's my fear, that people won't believe us. That it's like how rough it is right now, and how little seems open at this resort.
But we're not gonna lie to you. We're just not. Like, we both felt awful. We like literally got dropped off with an Uber, and I think we were planning on taking the bus to another park, but we wanted to get out of there so badly, we were like, we'll pay for another Uber. Like, let's get out of here.
You stepped in mud because we couldn't find a walkway.
Yeah,
at that point?
I had nice new shoes on, and I'm sure this soured me too on the resort. But like the first minute we were there was a total lack of pavement in a lot of the sections. So I stepped in like what looked to be a fine area, but no, it was all marshy and muddy and swampy. Oh, it was so gross. So I think it's obvious that we would both not recommend staying here. We would both probably give it a 0 out of 10, maybe a -5 out of 10.
I mean, to give it anything above a 0 is criminal, and I would say even I don't consider it a Disney resort right now. It's Disney. Disney should have closed it down to completely fix it, and they shouldn't have anyone staying there. Is my personal opinion, because it hurts the Disney brand. To like, it just does. Like, it hurts the Disney brand to bring people in and not inform them of how much is under construction.
I mean, I guess like it's theoretically on the website, right? Like, or maybe you've heard of it, but like to see it and feel it and experience it, because we didn't show a lot of it in the video because we were just so disgusted too. Like it was almost like heartbreaking to be there in a way. And because I was thinking about how many of these people, is it their lifetime Disney trip or maybe a once in every 10 years Disney trip, and they stayed there. And that would break my heart if somebody told me that story. So at the end of the day, I do know they give pricing discounts right now on it, so it's probably the cheapest moderate resort right now. But I would still say spend your pennies then on a value resort. Any other moderate resort, you know, if you can afford it, the little upcharge from it, don't be like lured in by their lower prices. Stay at a value resort. I think you'd have a better time personally.
100%. Like we said, 0 for me.
Yeah. See you later, Caribbean Beach. Hey there, everybody. This is the Swan and Dolphin Resorts, which I'm going to include as one because they are run by the same company. These are not typically necessarily considered as Disney resorts. However, they do share similar perks to being in a Disney World resort. And it's kind of like, in my opinion, you're getting deluxe rooms for a more moderate price. So I'm really excited to show you the Swan and Dolphin and kind of see what you think. Would you be willing to stay at technically a non-Disney property to get all the benefits of staying in one of these beautiful hotels? there you go, everybody. The Walt Disney World Swan and Dolphin hotels. So again, I just want to clarify, these are not Disney-owned properties, and they don't have all the Disney perks of staying at some of the other Disney resorts we've shown in our videos. However, there are perks. I think the only things I can think of that are missing is you do not get supplied with a magic band when you're checking in, although anyone can buy a magic band in the parks and link it to your My Disney experience, so no problems there. And then you can actually get like a one that you really enjoy too, like maybe one that has the Haunted Mansion on it or something. I don't know, that's just one of you. That'd be pretty cool. I've had one with the castle on it. I think you've had one with Figment on it.
Yeah,
so
I love Figment.
You know what, stay here. Don't get a magic band given to you for free and make it a boring color. Go get your own in Disney Springs or Magic Kingdom, wherever, it doesn't matter. Lots of places sell them and you can customize them. But also, so you don't get the magic bands.
Magical Express as well.
And you don't get the Magical Express. But I have to be honest, even no matter next time we stay at a Disney property, I'm not taking Magical Express. Yeah, it's free, but it's so long. It takes forever to get to your hotel, and sometimes you have to wait for one to arrive, and then if you wait for it to fill up, no. It takes way too long to start your vacation. We Uber from the airport, and I highly recommend that. What would it normally cost to Uber from MCO to a Disney property? About $35 to $40?
Maybe a little less.
Might be a little less. So the only way I probably wouldn't recommend that is if you have kids and you need car seats. But then,
a lot of checked bags.
Or a lot of checked bags, that's true. We never travel that heavy. So then Magical Express is your way to go. But so you don't have that here, but they will call you a car service or they will call you a taxi. Yep. So no worries that. They do have transportation to and from the Disney parks, including friendship boats. And you are on this amazing location. You can still make your fast pass selections like everybody else. I'm not sure if it's 30 or 60 days. I'm going to clarify that right here down below. But let's talk about some pros of staying at the Swan and Dolphin.
I think you have access to a lot of different dining options, and what a few high-end options. The Swan has a lot of beautiful, including great Italian restaurants.
Yeah.
And then the Dolphin, I remember, has several kid-friendly, including like in a ice cream parlor type situation. So like, there was a lot of good dining options, and also a great coffee bar, which I think kind of get a lot of bad coffee at Walt Disney World properties. So if you like have to wake up and get your coffee,
I don't know. This is tea. I'm not a coffee drinker.
Yeah,
but he is.
But yeah, if you like coffee, I like that there are bars options. You're not just getting like just really bad coffee.
That's a good point, and it's in your hotel. If you're staying in the Swan, the Java bar is in your hotel, so you don't have to go all the way to the parks to get your coffee, your morning coffee, and I think that's a great perk. The pools are really nice. Oh, going back to the restaurants, the Swan has character dining. Not even every Disney Disney-owned hotel has character dining. So I highly recommend that at Garden Grove. It's such a cute restaurant too. And then these are some higher end restaurants, like John was saying, Il Molino, Kimonos, Blue Zoo, which is one of my favorite restaurants in the entire world, not just Disney World, the world. And they are high end, and you do have to dress up for them, or at least not wear a hat.
Yeah.
He had to take it off.
At least in Blue Zoo.
Zoo.
I know in Blue Zoo you can't wear a hat. I don't think Il Molino's the same way.
And kimonos. So, be prepared for that. But we've stayed in the Swan before, and the rooms are phenomenal. It's like I said in the intro, it's like staying at a deluxe, but at a moderate price. But I mean, for the location, would you stay here for the price? I would absolutely stay here for the price.
Yeah, also it's my favorite section, which is the Epcot Boardwalk section. So I think it being there, it's actually even tucked a little further back, so if you prefer it quieter, it's even a little quieter than at Boardwalk or at the Yacht Beach Club, just because you're a little further away, but it's a matter of like an extra 2-minute walk.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think ultimately, can you think of any cons? Some people would think the magic bands and the lack of Magical Express are a con, so I'm going to repeat that.
Yeah, that's a con. I guess like I think this would be con for everything in this section. If you mostly love Magic Kingdom and I guess Animal Kingdom, you don't have anything except for the normal bus system to get there. So like I would say if you prefer those, I would recommend different deluxe resorts. In this case, you're really gonna stay here if you love I guess the Boardwalk area as well as Epcot and Hollywood Studios. That's the best way to get there.
Yeah, you can walk to Hollywood Studios and Epcot from this resort, so I highly recommend that. And another con would be there's no Disney theming here, not really. So gift shop's small, but it does still have good Disney merch, but the theming here, it's not Disney. Like you're here for a more adult vacation, but you know what, that's what the Disney parks are for. That's where you find your Disney theming. I still think it's amazing to stay here. I'm a huge fan of Disney theming. Like, but I don't mind it. I don't miss it because you are within walking distance to a park, and I think that's a great trade-off.
Oh, I do have one pro too, because it's not a Disney property. I don't know how many people might have points because they travel for work. I have Marriott points, and they kind of work. These are, I think, officially owned by Sheraton,
Yes.
which falls under the Marriott family tree. So if you have a lot of travel points, you can use them here. So you might end up not realizing that you can be on basically Disney property using those like work points that you kind of accumulated for free.
Yeah.
So I think that's something to think about if you do have those points, and I would look into this property.
That's a great point, and they also have family suites here, which are not crazy expensive. So if you were staying at another resort and you have so many people in your party, you actually needed 2 rooms, it might even be cheaper to stay here in a family suite. And I bet you it's cheaper to stay here in a family suite than at Art of Animation, which is a value resort in a family suite.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think these have some of the most comfortable beds I've ever slept in.
Oh my God, you will sleep like a baby.
So yeah, this is
That's a terrible analogy, by the way babies sleep horribly. You will sleep like
an 8-year-old.
Like an 8-year-old, yeah, like just passed out in any given position. Someone has to carry you to bed, like that tired.
8-year-old on like summer vacation, like no homework, no plans, like or like a snow days next day, like one of those 2 times.
Does that not sound like a great reason to stay at the Swan and Dolphin? So, yep, we highly recommend it.
Yep.